welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. We've come across the phrase, the pen is mightier than the sword. And here is a person that we are going to meet today who proves this adage day in and day out. Senior correspondent with The Pioneer, J. Gopikrishnan. Gopi ji, welcome to PGurus channel.
Thank you. Welcome.
So, Gopi ji, today we are going to talk about the latest developments that have been happening. You have written a lot about this, and you've also expressed that, in the corruption in the INX-Media case, it was not just Mr. Chidambaram, but there were a few bureaucrats who were also involved in moving this thing through various phases. Now, these were named, and 4 of them have been noted for sanction for prosecution. Perhaps you could bring up to date what has happened in terms of the actions. We know Chidambaram is in jail for this, but there are some other things going on. Perhaps you can bring the viewers up to date on what has been happening, and then I'll ask you the follow-up questions.
I don't consider this as this 71 retired IAS officers writing to the I think it is to the Prime Minister or somebody, saying that prosecution sanction against the officers like Sidhu Kullar and others are not so correct. This will demoralize. I consider this is not a development. This is basically a kind of retired officers using for their buddies, lobbying for their buddies who have been caught in the INX-Maxis scam, bribery case along with main accused P. Chidambaram. This is not the first time. The first, I can tell you, when that called secretary Harish Chandra Gupta was accused, these officers came out and said that Harish Chandra Gupta is a very honest officer. Harish Chandra Gupta might be his name, Harish Chandra might be the prompt, but he should know his name is very good for the truth. And
but sometimes it could end up being an oxymoron. So please continue.
But he should have, the court has found, he has approved this thing. He should have told the court and become an approver, saying that I had allotted these call blocks on the pressure of such and such powerful politicians. But he thought otherwise, and now he is convicted in 2 cases, just acquitted in another case.
I have a question for you, Gopi. This is just for this benefit of our viewers. Our viewers are very astute. They ask a lot of tough questions. One of the questions that they might want to ask, and I'm just being a spokesperson here, is, can an approver say that this was a verbal command from this minister and I acted on that?
Actually, I will tell you. When an officer's signatures are found, the investigating officer asks, that point itself, these officers can tell the truth and become a witness. They say, if they tell the investigating officers of the truth, I have signed all these papers on pressure of the minister, they can easily become a witness. But there is a prerogative of the officer, the investigating officer, whether to make this man as accused or witness. Normally, when a high officer tells the truth, he will become the witness. And even if he is not, the CBI or ED is not making them, naturally ED is not coming in the picture in this cases, they can actually become witness, or then even if their officer CBI make them as accused, when they are charge sheeted, they can simply walk up to the court, simply or through their vakil tell the judge, my lord, my client says, are ready to deposit before you the entire truth.
But then, see, this is where things get a little questionable, in the sense that in the court, it is the officer's word against the politician's word. Is it not? When it's a verbal command. How does that play out? That's my question.
No, that's the prerogative of the judge. If a government officer who is becoming an accused becomes an approver, then there are certain procedures. Judge has to take into consideration whether this is truth or not, and then judge allows him to become that's also judicial process. It's then it is a call taken by the judge. There are certain procedures, and when that person is becomes approver, he will be cut off from the existing trial, and then he has to come on the last day of judgment only. And normally the approvers are given mercy by the judges, taking note of the judgment. These officers should, if CBI is not making them as witness, these officers should have look for the second opportunity before the judiciary. And there are recently in this INX-Media case, Solicitor General Tushar Mehta argued, and it is the part of the High Court order which blocked Chidambaram, which rejected Chidambaram's bail, says Chidambaram tried to influence certain officers. I believe some two accused officers. I don't know the name of the officers. I just heard, and it's my hunch is that Chidambaram might have tried to meet these officers and told them, don't tell about me anything. That's why the court has noted that, even though this old man Chidambaram is not applied for or nothing, but he has met, according to CBI, he has met two witnesses or two accused persons to suppress the case.
Well, let's walk this back a little bit. Now, Chidambaram has been in jail for a while now, 6 weeks, or I think it's coming close to 50 days, I think. Right? Now, so there are some other rules that kick in once the duration of stay in jail starts hitting a certain number. So maybe you can just walk our viewers through, because I see this thing a lot of traffic on social media. What are they going to do? Is he going to be let off on? But somehow people are convinced that Mr. Chidambaram will find a way out. So please.
I'll tell you. Most of the social media outbursts are hearsays, basically. Nobody basically checks the IPC, CRPC, and others. When in this Chidambaram's case, you have to check also. I think if charge sheet is not filed within 60 days, or in some cases, some serious cases of fudging documents, 90 days, and except in terror cases, the arrested person has a right to approach the court as for a bail. But in Chidambaram's case, CBI has also said that giving bail to this man will lead to the controlling or influencing the other accused and witness. That may be a hindrance for them. Then court may wait for charge sheet, and it's all up to the prerogative of the judges from trial court to high court to Supreme Court, not in the control of actually investigators. And then charge sheet comes, then it comes the trial, then it is social media will talk anything. They also always say negativity, what will happen. When you give them, it is just like economics theory or hungry kids theory. When you give them one toffee, they want two toffee, then they want three toffee. This kind of there are separate procedures for every case and others. And most of the people in Indian public at large, they don't care or they don't have knowledge about the procedures in the court and right of the accused during the trial. It's like that only. It's a hearsay.
Gopi, there is a question I have. This just refuses to go away. The retired bureaucrat standing up for 4 of their accused. Now, in the case of the 2G scam, didn't the Manmohan Singh government send a couple of them serving officers into jail for that?
Yeah. There were one was Raja's private secretary, who was Indian Economic Service Officer, R.K. Chandolia, and government has given 24 hours, and that's an open and shut case. If Raja is arrested, Raja's private secretary will also go. And then there was a just retired telecom secretary was also there. But in this case, it all depends on the powerful bureaucrats like Sindhu Sri Kulhar in this current case. In Aircel-Maxis, the most powerful man was Ashok Chawla. He was He was NSC chairperson also, NSC chairman also till prosecution sanction was given. The form of
Yes.
finance. These are all Indian civil service officers, retired officers, buddy lobby, and I don't know, one of their colleagues is fate is sealed. So they will be, they're all sitting together. They were all having weekend lunches in the IIC, their own friendships. So they will put all the tantrums. That's it. Who are the major signatories? K.M. Chandrasekhar, 4 years he was cabinet secretary during the UPA tenure. 4 or 5 years he was cabinet secretary. Another was NSA Shiv Shankar Menon, who has nothing to do with the Indian inside civil service. I think he was enjoying civil service and he landed as national security advisor. Then was a foreign secretary, Sujata Singh, who has a grudge against this government for cutting short her tenure and making Jaishankar as the foreign secretary.
Now,
So
I'm sorry. These are the list of people who have signed that petition.
Signed, and the permanent fixture, Julius Romero, the great police officer Julius Romero. These people will sign anything against the government as if Modi has directly ordered or something. These are all
Tell me something. What is the specific beef that Mr. Julio Romero has against the Modi government? Why?
I think that Julio Romero was always a pro-congressman. That time, old bureaucrat during the Congress regime. And he was a great police officer, that's no doubt, in Punjab, as he was a DGP during the terrorism days and other things. But he also has his own politics. And everywhere after Narendra Modi came to power, he is seen as signatory to each and every petition against this current dispensation, maybe due to his political hangover or political baggage. But everybody has their own right. But this K.M. Chandrasekhar and all are new birds landed in this.
Gopi,
I think they have created a hierarchy in the signature also. Former cabinet secretary, former foreign secretary, former DGP.
So you may be retired, but your post still stays.
Let them do their retirement some work. No issues.
But then I'm again asking some dumb questions here, Gopi. You know better than me. They know that they have already been tarred with a certain color as far as Modi is concerned. And yet they don't, they continue to write these things. I mean, the credibility of these letters, it didn't even last 24-hour cycle. It just went away. So why do they keep doing this? What is the point in doing this?
Everybody has an agenda. They're in this particular case, they are having an agenda driven. And what are they talking? These people were the officers, and they must be very well aware of every bureaucrat must be aware of what is Prevention of Corruption Act and what is sanction for prosecution. These are all the long judicial landmark judgments, what it is. It is just a Sindhusri, their own colleague, and her husband is also a noted government officer, Rahul Kular. And these are all club. And they wanted to save Sindhusri, Anup Pujari, other officers. There must be, then there is no scope for that. This is just, I also argued for you. And this is nothing. They can't do anything. So it's a club. Everybody in the club, somebody says, Sindhusri, we should argue for Sindhusri. Okay, we all say the Sindhusri is nice and we should talk for her. She's a very nice gentlewoman, noble woman, everybody will say. And then they will start. But the fact of the matter, if these officers, as an Indian citizen and their services they rendered for the country, and then all knew what is law about this, and Julius Romero and others knew very well. And they should have actually advised these IAS officers, look, we know you in the Chidambaram's days, you cannot object. We all had this kind of ministers and we had signed. But before when it is an investigation happens, you tell the truth to the investigating officer and become a witness and tell the court what happened. Even if the CBI is not helping you to become a witness and still put you in the accused, take your liberty in front of the judge when the charge sheet is filed. You can simply walk into the judge, you or your vakil can simply walk into the judge and depose yourself, what is the truth? I agree, these things happen. I did every sign due to this man. I'm telling the truth, I committed a wrong, but I am confessing that I signed it. But due to these things, I had such a pressure happen. They can tell as an Indian citizen. Moreover, that these are very well-known civil servants. They should stick to the rule of law is the supreme, not these officers' name and other things. The law is above everything.
Two questions before we wrap up this talk. One is, you mentioned the name of Ashok Chawla, and that case is Aircel-Maxis, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
The government has given prosecution sanction. Jaitley was held that file for 8 months, and the last day, judge was saying that if you don't give me, I will kick out this charge sheet and others. Then after pressure, first they gave Chidambaram Jaitley 7 or 8 months. It was delayed. Then they gave this prosecution sanction against the officer 8-9 months. The case was only delayed due to Jaitley trying to protect his buddy Chidambaram. That's it. And apart from this political pressure, these officers' pressure, and this Ashok Chawla was a very powerful officer. After his tenure ended as finance secretary, he became competition commission chairman, CCI chairman. Then he became National Stock Exchange chairman. And you researched on Indian stock markets very well, and you know how this National Stock Exchange and its people's association with Chidambaram, we all know. But I'm not saying Ashok Chawla is a corrupt person or other thing, but Ashok Chawla kind of people. But I don't blame these officers, because when Chidambaram was ruling the roost, we have seen he has put Colonel Purohit in prison. Government's military's officer, intelligence officer can be put in prison, and military was giving salaries to him. Military has never suspended him, and military has taken back. But these officers' plight might be different if you say something against Chidambaram. And we have seen RVS money has been questioned by CBI in a third-degree style. We have seen he has written a book, but now these officers has a golden opportunity. Chidambaram is nothing, and they should have told the truth, but they still keep the friendship. So that means there is something is there.
Yes. Now, I must tell our viewers that we at PGurus had written that the moment Ashok Chawla's name appeared in the CBI charge sheet in Aircel-Maxis, we had demanded that he resign, and he did not. Until the sanction for prosecution was given, the man hung on to that seat like a leech. I have to say this thing because some of these people have to be dhakka marufied and pushed out of their positions. Also, I believe he was also chairman of a bank which is in trouble now. We will talk about that in a different hangout. But for now, I think I just want to end by just one small question, Gopi, and then we can finish this conversation. How do you see this play out for Chidambaram? If the CBI case is where he's in jail, ED is waiting to arrest him in probably the INX-Media. Now, so how does, there's also court case, right? I mean, CBI will have to try him in the court, and so on and so. So just maybe give us an idea of what exactly lies in the future of Mr. Chidambaram and his illustrious family.
Yeah, Chidambaram's case, Chidambaram is already charge sheeted in Aircel-Maxis case by CBI and ED. And CBI and ED was not at all happy to deal this case with that corrupt judge.
Whose name we shall not take.
No, I will take the name. Obviously.
You will take the name, fine.
Yeah, I have given a complaint against him 2-3 times. How old he, what all the nonsense he written on the PG judgment, 1,500 page I have written. All these things, he was totally wrote a bad judgment that man has wrought. And now he is retired. Now there is a new judge came, the same judge who is now dealing the INX-Maxis case. And in the INX-Maxis case, charge sheet will be in 1 or 2 months. Charge sheet will be filed now. Prosecution sanction is given, and then ED will also file a charge sheet on that. And ED has already attached around 50 crore worth properties of Chidambaram in so many areas, Ooty and London and they even tennis academy, Cambridge properties, they have attached it. And these are the two cases, which is now CBI and ED, two cases, is four cases he has to face, and these are all fast track courts. So maximum 2-3 years it will go on, and Aircel-Maxis case will take some more time because two accused are Malaysian citizens, which I can tell you we are not going to get, Malaysia is not going to give that to accused Krishnan and Ralph Marshall. But INX-Media case is a very easy case, and all the accused are in India itself, and one bribe giver, Indrani, has now become approver, so that case is a very fast case. Then Chidambaram has some other cases which is still in the primitive stages, but these two issues, having 4 cases, is enough to seal the fate of Chidambaram if the judges are honest. They are not acting like Saini. It will be this thing. And Saini's cases are now before the High Court. October 24 onwards, CBI and ED's appeal on main 2G cases also have starting. Let us wish that appeal judge is an honest guy. Let us hope for the best.
Well, I have a quick question. Sorry, I'm last question.
Yeah.
When a judge is retired, he becomes like a public servant, right? I mean, not public servant, a common man. He's a common man. He's like a citizen of India, correct? Once they are retired, right? So if after they are retired, there is a certain amount of time, if you are a government official, like 3 years, in which somebody can proceed against you for crimes committed while you were in office. What is the case for judges when they retire?
Actually, I'll tell you 2 issues are there. It is India, as per our constitution, High Court judge and above, you can remove them only through impeachment. And it is that power has been given to judges to uphold the integrity and free and fair. But after retirement, if you involved in corrupt practices, that is one of the rarest of the rare cases. Alok Verma, CBI director, has arrested that Justice Kudusi, High Court judge of Odisha, and others for transferring money in that medical college case, which has ultimately led to the 4 judges press conference and others big case. And the trial judges can be easily arrested anytime. That the Hyderabad trial judge, district judge, was arrested by CBI for taking bribe from Bellary Janardhan Reddy for granting bail. It can be, because in Saini's case also, they can easily fix Saini, because ED has reported that just before this OP Saini's judgment weeks ago, the accused person's companies, non-working companies, defunct companies' shares were purchasing, and it was boosting like anything. So this ED has reported. But at that time, Arun Jaitley was the ED's minister. And why blame Arun Jaitley? There are prime ministers. There was a lot of people. They should have taken a call on that case. But we don't know this. Normally, I have filed a complaint against Saini, analyzing his 1,500 page judgment. Where all he made errors, what are all the problems in his judgment and others. But I found that everybody in the judiciary has a problem, saying that if you started analyzing the judgment of the judge, then you are opening a floodgate. So there was some sort of insaniate the senior judicial officers has given to Saini, I think. So it's a huge money involving case where big corporates are involved. It is not about the petty Raja or other things, but the Reliance, SR, a lot of companies, United, so many companies and corporates. Some at the end of the day, that 2G court judge was there, but they could have taken an action to prevent sending a message to other judges also. They did not take.
Well, I think the time is now right for some of these really bad judgments to be looked at very closely. We don't know how it's going to play out. We really hope that at least the most egregious judgments are looked at by the honest judges and said that, look, this is wrong, and the person who gave this judgment must be punished after the person has retired. This is our hope, and we can only say that because you need to give confidence to the people that the judiciary is independent, it is honest, and it is quick. So let's hope that we will leave it at that. Gopi, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on this topic. We'll be back with more such conversations.
Yes, thank you very much.